2. Hello, one and all, and welcome to another exciting edition of The Kickout, the final word in professional wrestling. I am your host, the Wizard CZ. Of course, we are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and joining me as always, my never wrong co-host, one half of the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, Mr. Never Wrong, Nick Bull. Nick, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. Coming off another great weekend of wrestling. We're spoiled here as fans with all the wrestling we're getting to watch and review, and glad to be here. There's lots to talk about, CZ. But what do you want to talk about?
Man, I think first we need to just touch on this little thing right above my head here. If you are a fantasy football fan, click on the QR code, join our Toys for Tots Fantasy League. Sign up is starting right now, and it's for a good cause. But as far as wrestling is concerned, man, what a weekend. We had Money in the Bank, but more importantly, we had what I think was the better show. And that's no offense to Money in the Bank. They did a hell of a job. They did a good job. But Worlds Collide. This they had a lot of talk about the original When Worlds Collide back from '94 during the show. And this did not fail to deliver, in my opinion, Nick.
Yeah, this was, I was scrambling around at the last minute because I was driving back as this show started, and I completely forgot that this show was on YouTube. I thought it was a network show. So I'm on Peacock. I can't find it. Finally found it. But what a nice piece of introductory material.
Yes.
For a wrestling fan, if they didn't know anything about AAA, did a really good job, a really good history of things with that, presenting that, telling you kind of a brief history, touching on key points of their history of their company. That was great. Like, people need to know about that. I learned some things yesterday. My biggest question mark when I started listening to it was the Corey Graves Conan comment team. I really felt bad for Graves because I felt he carried, the burden of the load, and Conan is so dry and stuff. But I felt they kind of started warming up to each other, about halfway through the show. So yeah, that at first I'm like, I don't know if I like this, but I did. But the matches, the talent, the showcasing of what was going on was amazing. We probably got two of the best matches out of the weekend with that North American four-way match between champion Ethan Page defending against Laredo Kid, Ray Phoenix, and Javon Evans. And then, of course, the AAA mega champion, El Hijo del Vikingo, and Chad Gable with, I think, the absolute match of the weekend. Absolutely brilliant. It showed Vikingo was able to grapple with Gable on the mat and at the same time get in his high-flying offense that dazzles crowds and draws people in. I absolutely loved this match. I know it's early June here, not even quite mid-June here on the card, subject to change and kick out family of networks here. But that might be the leading contender of the match for June so far, was that classic yesterday. Chad Gable and Vikingo just were great.
I mean, I was torn until I rewatched them as we record this afternoon. I was torn. I wasn't sure which one I liked better, but that Vikingo match, man, anytime he steps in the ring is just something to behold. And I believe I texted you Saturday. You were driving, but I said right after the four-way, I'm like, we got a potential match of the month candidate right here on that four-way, and we didn't even hit the main event yet.
No, you're absolutely right, and that four-way match was superb. And just a little bit notch below the Vikingo and Gable match for me, but still a fun match.
They were right there.
What did you think of the overall presentation and pay-per-view? I want to hear what you have to think.
I thought it was really good. I thought, like you said, Conan was a little dry, which kind of surprised me because I remember, and maybe this is just, his age wearing him down a little bit, and I don't want to make excuses for him.
He's had some health struggles lately too.
But I remember Nitro days, him coming out, Orale, viva la raza, I'm just being this
a little
flamboyant
more
in your face.
vibrant. Right.
And he seemed so subdued, but there were some fun lines. My favorite was Conan saying that Graves was not very bright, and Graves' instant response, well, I might not be very bright. That's why I got to be handsome.
That's right.
That's my new go-to line. That's how I feel about myself.
Sure. That's right. That's right. No, I thought Graves did an excellent job on the commentary, and I'm sure they're going to do better when they have things. I don't know. You know, they were promoting Triple Mania, which takes place, one of their 3 Triple Manias of the year, which takes place next weekend. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing they're going to want to get pay-per-view revenue for that. I wish they'd put that on YouTube. I'd like to watch it, but I don't know if I want to pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, unless it was on a streaming service I was already paying for. I don't know if what the WWE involvement will be on with that.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I gotta wonder where it's going to be too. You gotta wonder after this match, is Chad Gable going to make an appearance and interfere in the title match?
Maybe he does. That's a good question. What do you think?
I think it'd be interesting. I can definitely see it, or maybe his mirror image, Mr. El Grande Americano, makes an appearance.
Quite possibly.
I mean, they're 2 different people, so at least for now. But
now they are. For now, I mean, come on, hey, we got it. Come on, we know it may be, but we haven't been showed that it could be. So
right.
Like, and if anybody wants to answer a wrestling prayer out there, when they reveal El Grande Americano, it cannot be Chad Gable. Make it somebody else that looks close to Gable, but that would be tremendous.
At least for a couple weeks.
Absolutely, it would. Absolutely.
But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was presented really well. The crowd seemed really into it. Chad Gable got the John Cena treatment with Gable sucks. Let's go Gable. Gable sucks a couple times. That was pretty cool. And his entrance, you know, he's got the "you suck." He's got the Kurt Angle treatment as his music plays as he comes out. So
of course,
Chad's got
the over the top patriotic display, right?
Yes,
he's got the stars. I mean, of course, dude. Man. I wish Chad Gable could have worked with Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr back in the AAA days when they were,
absolutely,
the tag team champs down in AAA and had their American gear and stuff. So yeah, excellent, man, excellent stuff. I thought I just top to bottom another great production, from WWE. Of course, showcasing AAA here. I know WWE won 3 of the matches and AAA won 2 of the matches, but that wasn't really the point of this. The point of this was to expose a wider audience to a product that they may not know or know much about. And I thought they did a really good job of doing that, giving us, 2 out of the 5 matches I think were bangers. I think we can call them absolute bangers for matches.
And those other 3 were no slouches.
And they weren't no slouches either. So I thought it was an excellent show. I actually enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Money in the Bank. So that goes without saying. But fun times ahead for NXT for sure, and WWE working with AAA now. But yeah, stay tuned here with any developments coming up on that front. He is the Wizard season. What's it?
Fun times coming up all across the board.
For sure. Like, follow, share, subscribe. We are the Kickout, our midweek short form show. Tune in on Sundays, 6:30, when we usually record Card Subject to Change. But this week, it's a little different. Am I right?
It is. We are accommodating the next 2 weeks. We are accommodating guests' needs. We have an independent guy that Nick and I have followed, maybe not closely, but know who he's been on our radar for a couple years now, by the name of Casey Jacks. He just joined Eric Esnight, friend of the podcast's group, The Chosen, in the last couple of months. So we'll hear his story at 1 p.m. next week. And then our big 200th episode coming up in a week and a half from today on Sunday the 22nd, without looking at the calendar. Yes, Sunday the 22nd, with the original Glow Girl Hollywood, Jeannie Basone. I am super excited. We got to talk to her last year at the Sandra Lee Memorial Car Show, and she's coming on to talk all about her book and wrestling, and maybe even talk soap with us. She makes soap.
I know she does. Maybe I'm excited for that because she remembered us. She said she'd come on the show at the time when she was writing the book. She wrote the book. The book is out. She was coming on. Then storms affected her area back in May when we had this scheduled, so we postponed it to now. Her book's blowing up even more, but she said she'd come back, and we're glad to have her back. Looking forward to that here in the very near future. That's over on the Card Subject to Change, like we said, on Sundays. This is the Kickout midweek short form show here on the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Network. He is the Wizard CZ. I am Never Wrong Nick Bull, and this has been the Kickout, the final word in professional wrestling.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.